The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida.
On TECHxploration, your trusted tour guides, Craig and David, will explore every corner of Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TECHxploration.
For the latest tech and innovations emerging within our communities, as an inside look ahead at Florida's future.
Cool. What is crazy tech to you?
I helped a customer. It was a university, and they had a classroom that they wanted to make high tech. They wanted it to be that no one ever had to touch anything to make it work. And the reason being, if you're an English teacher, for instance, you might be an incredible English teacher, but you may not know anything about tech.
Makes
so you
sense.
walk into this room with, like, you're looking around here at all this fancy equipment we have, and even sometimes you create this great UI on a control panel that makes it, we think, is super easy.
Yeah, just touch these 9
Just
buttons
touch this.
in sequence.
Yeah, well, it's usually easier than that, but
Audio
still.
on, audio off.
It's also a distance learning classroom. You had to make sure you stood in front of the camera. What happens if you want to walk? Or what happens if you forget? You just get caught up in the moment of your teaching and you walk out of the view of the camera.
Straight up disappear. Your students just leave.
So you don't know how to put a mic on your lapel. A mic on your lapel should stick straight up towards your mouth.
I've struggled with that for many.
Yeah.
And
Well, I've heard it where they're walking around, they're moving, it's just rustling noises all over the place.
Exactly. Because it's just not, it's
they don't
not
know how to
clipped
install
right.
it
Yeah.
properly.
So to eliminate all these problems, what they wanted to do was have microphones like that in the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And then those lobes were going to sort of cross. They had 2 in the classroom, and they were going to cross so that no matter where the instructor was, they could be heard.
Sure.
So then they said, okay, well, we also need a camera that can do tracking. That's, I don't want to say common, but it's more common than what I'm about to mention.
Fair.
So easy, right? So now the instructor
Can move.
can
freely.
move around, and the camera will track where the instructor is. And they still didn't want them to have to turn on a button or anything, right?
Just
So
touch nothing.
and they had a software system that would recognize you walk into the room and you're not the instructor that's supposed to be scheduled. The system doesn't do anything.
Stop it.
The janitor walks in the room. The system does nothing. You walk into the room, you're scheduled to teach a lecture, recognizes your face, boom, everything does what it's supposed to do, turns on.
It turns on
It
because
start-
it saw
it
his
like-
face.
And it starts streaming at the
it.
appropriate time, right?
No.
Because it's supposed to stream. It opens up their Zoom platform or whatever they were using.
That's the 2050 stuff right
This
there.
is like,
And
I've seen movies with this.
yeah, and because it's facial recognition, if somebody else were to get up, the camera's not going to track them. It's only going to track the person it's supposed to.
Where do you see this 2023, 2024? What is on the horizon? Launches first, got it. Where does it go from there?
I believe it will become a household name, right? When you look at what a Clubhouse has really pulled off recently and how addicted people are to the audio experience and chatting with people in group settings, and we look at the feedback when you ask anyone on Clubhouse, what do they not like about Clubhouse? It's everything that we offer on Owwll, right? They don't enjoy that, they can't sometimes get on stage. They're waiting in the crowd to speak, and it takes them an hour to talk to someone. Then they want to talk to someone one-on-one, but they can never get through. They're back channeling them or sending a message on Instagram or LinkedIn, and they're not getting those messages returned. We look at the experts. They're looking at it from a different view lens. They're saying, I get too many messages. I don't know who I should accept calls with. There's just too much coming in through these inboxes. I can't just hire an assistant to just message them all back in a creative way. I can't just give my time away for free. So it works from both sides when we're looking at what's going on Clubhouse. And we believe that, we are not a competitor to Clubhouse, but we'll run parallel to Clubhouse as being another option for people to help monetize their time that they're already providing different, scenarios on Clubhouse with rooms and knowledge and wisdom, right? So now at the end of a Clubhouse room, say, hey, anyone wants to book a time one-on-one with me, go ahead and head over to Owwll. I'll be live for the next 2 hours. And a lot of people in that room would 100% book a time with them, right? They just heard them speak. What happens with all of us is, we want to chat, we can't get through to them. So what happens is we put it on our to-do list and then we forget about it because we give up, right? At this point, it's just not worth it. Or we listen to a podcast. How many times have we listened to a podcast and at the end we're like, I would love to call that person.
Every time.
Every time.
We're in love with this idea of on-demand advice because that is where everything is going. You want it now. The consumer, the user wants their problem solved immediately.
Charlene, can you give us a little kind of context into, the program, the Women in Tech program, a couple years old? What kind of got it going?
Women in Tech started off just by looking at the statistics in the South Florida area, in Miami in particular. Women make up about 50% of the workforce or even more, yet are only represented by 26% when it comes to the IT workforce. We wanted to ensure that there were more opportunities for women to get into IT, and hence the program was developed. The interesting thing about tech is it touches everything, whether you're a technology company or whether you are in any type of industry that you can think of, there is going to be a need for a technology infrastructure and a technology team. So this is why I feel the time is right. There's so much opportunity, so much growth right here in South Florida. And we encourage companies to come in and to enjoy our lovely weather, enjoy our diversity, but we want them to come in and hire our talent. And in order for them to do that, we have to ensure that we create that pipeline of talent that can, in fact, do well and perform well and excel at the jobs that are being created as a result of the boom and as a result of, Miami becoming the next Silicon Valley.
What were some of and this could be on the recording side or on a specific website you were using, what are some of the tech applications that you had to use back in 06, 08, maybe even into 09, 10? Like, what did that look like?
Now you can buy microphones that have USB cables into your computer. That wasn't a real big thing back then. So we had to get a mixer of some sort. And of course, they weren't making podcast-specific mixers. So we were buying music mixers.
Sure.
And I had never used a music mixer before. So that was a challenge because it had way more buttons than I needed. So we were using mixers, any old mixer we could find. By the way, one of those Behringer mixers that we used, we took on the road with us for 12 years, and my wife is still using it.
We've had a few Behringers for the trivia business I was telling you about. And like some of these things, when it's made well, like a Shure mic that I had from 2008 all the way to now, and you could like bang it on the floor and it still works. You can't beat stuff like that.
No. And that mixer, I'll tell you what, it still works. And I've been through a lot more expensive mixers. I've been through several that have conked out on me, and that one's still going. And we used Behringer mics back then, too. I found this 3-pack of Behringer mics. I don't know what they used them for. They were $40 for 3 of them.
That is a steal of a deal.
Sounds like a great deal.
And it didn't sound bad. I mean, it really, well, back then, if you could hear us at all, we were happy. But it didn't sound bad. And they were cheap mics, but they worked. And like you said, I could bring them on the road when we went to horse shows and stuff. I could drop them. I could do whatever. The other thing about those particular Behringer mics is that when you got away from the mic like this, or if there was background noise, you couldn't hear it real well. So you really had to be up on the mic, which was perfect for horse shows. We were set up in places where the loudspeaker of the announcer was above our head. And we could still do a show, and the loudspeaker sounded like it was way far in the distance. So we were using fairly inexpensive equipment back then, and yet it was good equipment. It worked.
Floridians are both creating and consuming some amazing innovations from shore to shore. So join in on this ride with Craig and David exploring the innovative tech in our backyards. Find the latest episodes, show notes, and news at FloridaPodcastNetwork.com.
You're listening to the Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida. FPN is committed to promoting local brands and businesses through a network of podcasts celebrating the Sunshine State, and you can be a part of it. We'll make it easy to showcase your brand through the power of podcasting. Our team has successfully worked with over 50 companies to help promote their brands. Target our niche audiences through ads and host-read commercial spots on individual episodes, or contribute content to a show on a regular, ongoing basis. Make your brand part of the FPN family. Head to floridapodcastnetwork.com/partner with us for more information, to download our media kit, and to reach out. The Florida Podcast Network, celebrating Florida one local brand at a time.